Welcome to another Mr. Paul video. In this lesson, we'll be talking about 3.1, representing proportional relationships. Now, we're going to be focusing a lot about separating the language from the math. But first, let's focus on a little bit of math. Take 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds. Take as much time as you need. I want you to pause the video and fill out both of these tables. Go ahead and do that now. Hopefully, now that you've done it and you just haven't just pressed play and then just kept going, we're going to fill in both of these tables with the missing values, okay? So in this first table, we have something IG post, right, for those Instagram likers, and we have the total likes. So if we posted one time, we ended up with 3 likes. If we posted 2 times, we ended up with 6 likes. If we posted 3 times, we ended up with 9 likes. If we posted 4 times, we wanted to know how many likes there were. To understand exactly what this should be, we have to understand what pattern is going on. This number here, every time I post, I had 3 likes. That meant every time I post, I had to multiply this number by 3. 1 times 3 was 3. Because every time I post, I had 3 likes. So 2 times 3 was 6. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 3 is 12. Something times 3 is equal to 15. That number has to be 5. Something times 3 has to be 30. That number is 10. Now, some of you might have recognized, oh, okay, I got to multiply something by this number to get to this number to get to this number, and you just figured out the 3's, or you just figured out the pattern. We're going to be learning that there's actually a way to use the pattern to figure out what the relationship is. So this relationship, this representing proportional relationships, is talking about this number right here. This 3 that is being multiplied by the top numbers to get the bottom numbers is what we call a constant relationship. The 3 is being multiplied by every single number. Well, let's take this bottom example. If I make a batch of cookies, it yields 12 cookies. That means 1 batch makes 12. 2 batches makes 24. 3 batches makes, well, let's look at the relationship. Some number times 1 will get me to 12. So 1 times 12 will get me to 12. 2 times 12 will get me to 24. 3 times 12 will get me to, that's right, 36. Something times 12 will get me to 48. Now, some of you are like, 1, 2, 3, don't do that. Okay? Every number, or every operation in math has an opposite. When you add, the opposite of add is subtract. When you multiply, the opposite of multiply is divide. 48 divided by 12. If I know this number times 12 equals 48, 48 divided by 12 will give me 4. This is using opposite operations, okay? For some of you, this is a review, and some of you are like, mind blown, okay? Something times 12 is equal to 60. So 60 divided by 12 is 5. If you notice that this right here, this 12 is being multiplied by each of the numbers on the top to achieve the bottom number. This is what's known as these are both known as a constant rate. Okay, a constant rate, but in math, they don't use a constant rate. They don't use that. They call this the proportionality constant. Okay? And it's represented by the letter K. Some of you remember this back when you did proportionality in 7th grade, and some of you don't. What's less important is the name of it and more what it does. But whenever they're saying proportionality constant, the letter K, they're talking about what rate are you comparing the 2 numbers together. Okay? So the next thing I want to do is maybe understand a little bit more what this looks like in mathematics. okay? So if we're trying to determine what this number is, we have to first set something up in mathematics because we don't want to make a table every time. So let's use let's use these in a sentence, okay? So if I was to make a sentence about this first situation where I have likes and Instagram posts, what might you say? If I was to have batches and cookies, what would I say? Here's what I would like you to do. I'd like you to pause the video one more time. See if you can come up with a sentence of how to relate total likes and Instagram posts. Now, I'm not looking for the proportionality constant is this or that. Oh, that's not what I'm saying. If I was to say, hey, give me a sentence on how 1 and 3 are related. Give me a sentence on how 2 and 6 are related. What would you say? Okay, pause the video now. You probably just let it keep running again, didn't you? Okay, so in this first example, maybe I'll say something like, for every IG post, I get 3 likes. And maybe for the second one, you're saying something like, every batch I make, don't capitalize that. It produces 12 cookies. Now, this doesn't seem that important, but understanding what situation they're giving in our language will help us understand what they're saying in mathematics. So in mathematics, what they might say is, they might say something like 3 likes per IG post. Or they'll say 12 cookies per batch. What's more important is this word per. In math, that is setting up the ratio that we're looking for, okay? And in math, it looks like a division problem, with the division being the word per. The division will be the line. All of the stuff on this side of the per goes on the top, right there. All of the stuff on the bottom side of the per goes on the bottom. And this setup will help us understand what the proportionality constant is. So for example, we already know that the proportionality constant is 3 and the proportionality constant is 12, but that won't stop us from coming up with proving it to ourselves that this is true. So in the case of the 3 likes per Instagram post, I can take anything in this table and simply say the number on top is the 3, and the number on bottom, well, if that one was on top, that one goes on bottom. 1. My proportionality constant is 3 divided by 1, which is 3. That's what this is. And it goes true for any of them in the table. So for example, I could have also used 6 and 2. I could have used 9 or 9 and 3. If you notice, all of these fractions reduce down to 3. In the case of the cookies and the batches, the cookies go on top. Any cookie goes on top. So cookies go on top. Cookies go on top. 12 over 1. 12 over 1 is 12. I could have used any of the other ones as well. I could have used 24 over 2 or 36 over 3. For my fraction busters in here, 24 divided by 2 or 36 divided by 3, all of those will give you a proportionality constant. All of these will give you a proportionality of 12. All of these will give you 3. These are the numbers that we're multiplying by. So when you're in your IXL lessons and they're asking you, what is the proportionality constant? This is the number they're looking for, guys. And the ticket to getting out of that is looking for this per. It'll tell you how to set up your fraction. I hope this video helps, guys. If not, make sure that you're looking up Khan Academy. Also, make sure you're looking up your book. Email if you have any questions. Miss you guys. Peace.